So welcome back. Now I want to talk about why it's important to catch negative emotions early. So let me ask you, have you ever gotten angry or anxious and then reacted in a way that made you ask, what was I thinking? Well, the problem is that realistically, you weren't thinking. And that really is the problem. You see, once intense emotions are in full effect, your rational mind is basically rendered useless. The momentum is too strong for you to think your way out of the situations. It's not because there's something wrong with you. It's because this is how your brain works. The part of your brain called the limbic system is primarily responsible for your emotions. For example, the amygdala, which is part of that system, is responsible for feelings of anxiety, fear, and anger. So when the part of your brain is activated because of the intense emotions that you might feel, then the rational part of your brain actually turns off, which if you're stressed out, if you experience certain situations in your life, your brain will simultaneously turn off other parts of your brain. So this part of your brain, which is called the prefrontal cortex, actually turns off. And in MRIs, you can see that and things like that. But why is that important? Is because that part of your brain is the part of your brain which helps us reason and think critically. This is why it's so important to catch negative emotions early, because they become outside of your control when you don't. So it's important to recognize your triggers. What changes do you have when you're having a negative emotion? How do you change physically? Do you change the way that you stand? Do you change the way that you breathe? Are you like huffing and puffing? How does your thought process change? Do you get disconnected from your now? Are you having pretend conversations or arguments in your head with the person or situation that you had the problem with? Are you reliving your past events with your thought process? So it's important to recognize these small changes. By doing that, it will help you get to a better place where you can start shifting them before they turn off that critical part of your brain. And it's really about practice. So the more you practice doing these things, the more you practice recognizing some of these emotions, the better that you're going to get at stopping them before they actually take control. Because again, once it goes snowballing into that direction, it is very challenging to step back, because that part of your brain, the part of your brain that's supposed to be there and tell the other parts of your brain, hey, you need to quiet down. It's not rational what you're thinking. It's not rational the way that you're behaving. It's no longer truly functional. So what can you do though if that part of your brain shuts down? What can you do if your amygdala, that little devil thing in your brain, takes over? Are you just supposed to wait for it to kind of fall asleep and then your other part of your brain can turn back on? Well, not necessarily. There are other things that you can do, whether it's shifting your thoughts or shifting your thought process, the way that you're seeing things, your body. Incantations are powerful, the way that you stand, because even if you're smiling, if you're fake smiling, the brain's saying, hey, if he's smiling, he's got to be happy. So it can make a difference. But there's another activity that you can do. And this is a simple exercise that's not too complicated that can help you turn that part of your brain back on, because it actually synchronizes again your heart with that part of your brain that's supposed to be there to help you critically think. And it kind of shuts off that section of your brain that just keeps yapping and trying to take you to that emotional place, because it thrives there. So what you can do is put your hand over your heart. Very simple exercise. And just close your eyes if you have the opportunity. Obviously, if you're driving, you don't want to be doing this. Or even if you're in the middle of your job and you're talking to your boss, you don't want to have to close your eyes and put your hand over your heart in front of it, because they might think you're a little weird. But feel free to do so even if you want to. But you can also go to the bathroom, take a bathroom break if you feel overwhelmed. Go to a place where you can have some quiet time. Go to your car in the middle of your break or whatever you need to do this. So put your hand over your heart again, and you can do this for about 2 minutes. And what you're going to do is that you're going to hold hand over your heart and you're going to listen to your heartbeat and just focus on your heartbeat and take deep breaths in that process. So you can hold it for a couple seconds and then exhale. Take another deep breath. And exhale. And when you do that, just the breathing exercise can be very powerful to turning back on your prefrontal lobe and kind of shutting down or quieting down the amygdala. And research has shown that just breathing. But the good thing about putting your hand over your heart is that if you can focus on your heartbeat, again, it synchronizes the flow between your heart and your brain. It also helps shift your focus, because when you're truly focusing on your heartbeat and breathing, you're no longer focusing on the things that are wrong, the things that did not go right, or the argument that you might have had. You're no longer living in that space of the past where it's making you lose control emotionally. So by doing that, it helps you focus on the things that you want to focus. It helps you get back in that place where you're going to be able to have rational thoughts, rational decisions, and rational emotions that push you away from that cliff. So again, hand over heart, 2 simple minutes. It can make a huge difference to getting you to that place again where you can really thrive emotionally and then choose the direction that you want to go to. I hope that helps. Thank you.